We chatted with Mark Joseph. We talked about his connection to lacrosse, his bands, producing and promoting live shows, as well as touching on his new album, Vegas Motel. Though Mark doesn't live in the area, he has an ongoing presence in lacrosse's music scene, from playing in his various full bands to acoustic sets all over the area. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
At the Vegas Motel, more like living hell. I'm drinking off a bottle, and only time will tell.
All right, my name is Mark Joseph, and I was born in Northfield, Minnesota. I got into music by I had a very musical family. My grandfather played piano, real jazzer, kind of the 40s, 50s stride jazz piano variety, and also singing in church a lot as well. That was kind of the start of it. My mother also was avid, just music fanatic, loves all kinds of music. And we grew up showing horses. So a lot of country music in the truck, riding to the horse shows and whatnot. But she definitely put a lot of different music in front of me as a child. I do remember one of my birthdays, probably 8 or 9 years old. She gave me a rack of tapes. She had specifically picked out all these different genres of music to make sure that I had all these different flavors kind of going through my ears, and everything from like Native American flute music to Rod Stewart's greatest hits, Van Morrison to, classical, Mozart, you name it. So
just thinking about those sort of influences, all those different cassettes you're talking about. I first heard of you when you were in Down Low, and I believe it was in the early 2000s. I don't remember so much so now, but I remember seeing you in different variations of different bands coming through the area, playing with different groups. What is your connection to lacrosse? How did that start?
Well, yeah, Down Low was Down Low is where I first performed in lacrosse, the Down Low days, and that was it would have been about 2004 or 5, right in there. Yeah, we came down and played the Popcorn Tavern, of course, because that's what you do when you're a new band trying to come into town. We really hit it off with a lot of the local musicians, Cheech being one of them, Great Hall, and the Smokin' Bandits, who I believe he was playing with them at the time. And there was also a band called Hooch, my brother Derek, who's in that band, and the Tug Guys, and just all these really great lacrosse musicians who all were very welcoming and very friendly, and everybody wanted to hang out and collaborate and wanted to do shows together. I remember, after the first couple shows we did in lacrosse, everybody was just like, man, we loved it there. Let's go back. Let's go do it again. It kind of started a sort of an era where I played lacrosse frequently. And that's never really ended, I guess, to come to think of it. I mean, I've been playing there ever since, really.
Yeah, it seems like you're passing through town at least quarterly in some sort of iteration. Kind of moving on to like the pandemic years over here, over the last couple of years, I've seen you in a number of different bands. You're producing, you're promoting shows that, are live, but then also streaming. It seems like, I've seen a lot more of you recently with the streaming activities. Yeah. What keeps you hustling? You know what I mean? Even during a global pandemic like this.
I got 3 kids. So, so there's that. Keep me working hard. It's in my nature to be, I think, just to be kind of resilient. Anybody who has to survive in the music business and tries to make a living doing it has to be extremely resilient, whether or not there's a pandemic or whatever the issue of the day is. There's a lot of different challenges that continuously face any of us who try to make a living in the arts. It's part of who I am. I'm a little bit stubborn in general. So I think that's probably served me well to a certain degree, at least when some of these things go on. This pandemic thing has been really challenging, obviously, for many people. Music to me, music is life to me. So, without it, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to get by, pretty tough to find, that's how for me at least, and I believe that others feel the same way, is that in music is where I find purpose. It's the thing that gets me up in the morning, sharing music, creating music, using music as a medium to connect with other people. So in some ways, then that was sort of shut down or taken away via this pandemic. It was pretty alarming to me. So, we all kind of went through those first few months of the complete shutdown. And to me, it was like, we immediately have to figure something out. And so that's what landed me streaming, because that seemed like an immediate way to sort of get the music out there and start connecting with people, especially when everybody was disconnected or couldn't travel or whatever the situation was, depending on where you live. So that's what brought on the streaming, was like, well, this is our avenue. This is our opportunity to connect to people, try to bring people together through music. After the first few months, that it became evident that we had to do something to keep people. It's not just music, right? It's joy, it's laughing, it's celebrating life, it's communicating things that make us feel human. All those things are integral to a normal and healthy life. I'd say, whatever normal means, but I think you know what I mean. And so I just had to keep going. And it's very interesting. I find a lot of people that come to the shows now will oftentimes thank me for doing that, because it was really meant a lot to them. It was something to look forward to. And they felt connectivity, even if it's just a screen and typing comments. They were on the comment boards with people they know, communicating, talking about good times, talking about reminiscing on the great times they've had in the past, and obviously in the future too.
With that, you have a new album, Vegas Motel.
Yeah.
What was it like recording that new piece?
Sure. The Vegas Motel was an interesting process writing that. As part of the pandemic stuff, I was doing these commissioned songs for people. People would ask for a song for a Christmas present or a special Valentine's or, all kinds of different things. And so I was doing these songs, and it actually, it kind of created an opportunity for me to write some pretty interesting songs I felt were interesting about people, subject matters that was a little bit outside of the norm for me, different things, and including some stuff all the way from like stories about a hardworking guy who risked it all to create a recycling business and live a life of meaning, to like a guy who was fighting for his life with cancer and fighting COVID all at the same time, all these things. And writing the songs, I was really inspired and moved by what came out and the stories that I was writing about. And primarily they're all stories about people that I know in my life or I've met. And the recording process, what's different about this record to anything else I've ever done is that we turned this record around extremely fast. So I wrote probably 6 or 7 of the tunes around Thanksgiving, Christmas of 2020. And then we were in the studio 6 weeks later tracking them. It was a fast process as far as that goes, but I really liked it because it didn't really give me a chance to overthink anything. And I really feel like we captured the songs in a very sort of raw form, in a way that they're sort of fresh to me as an artist, but also just fresh as they were conceived, And it felt good. I was really blessed to have JT Bates as a co-producer. JT is an amazing drummer and a musical genius, in my opinion. As like just so many other artists, was not touring at the time. This is a guy who you can't get him. He's never available, whether he's, doing tracks for Taylor Swift, or he's touring with Bonnie Lighthorseman or Bon Iver, all these cats. He's a good buddy of mine, and, he was around and he was excited about the project. So I jumped on it. I kind of just like canceled a bunch of other stuff. I said, no, we're doing this. This is an opportunity to work with JT. So that's kind of how it went down. And, he had this engineer named Alex Proctor. He was just going to have us help on the first day of the sessions. And after the first day working with Alex, I was like, well, okay, we need you on the whole thing immediately, because he's so talented. Alex was all about it. He jumped on board too. So kind of the project evolved sort of organically like that. And Alex Proctor is just a world-class engineer too. So really that whole working with those two guys was really what made it possible and the record that it is.
So is there any particular tracks that stick out for you that you are your sweethearts or anything?
Yeah. Yeah. They all do in their own way, I think. But, a lot of the feedback we got about the record is that they're all all the songs are unique and they have their own little universe in them. And so I like them for that reason. I like them all for that reason. that they all sort of have their own mini experience that you can go through in story. But the Vegas Motel, the title track is just a classic country ride. It's sort of in the vein of my, one of my heroes, Merle Haggard, the pedal steel crying in the night, and some of the other ones, like Life of a Pipe Welder is a story about that individual. I was saying this man named Mr. King who was fighting for his life with cancer, and then he gets COVID in the hospital.
Life of a pipe welder was seldom told. Keeps the hours of labors of old. Raising 3 babies ain't an easy task, but I earn that bread and then I run it back.
And, I wrote that song for him on Christmas Day, and we sent it to him that day because he was alone in the hospital. Like that song will always mean a lot to me for that reason alone, but it turned out great too. And Love You Till I Die, it's Valentine's Day, so I wrote that one for the love of my life, Carly, and so that's a super special song to me, and they all have a lot of meaning to me. They're all dear to my heart.
So for people who want to check you out, you have a double release album that's happening at the Main Event Center in La Crosse coming up April 15th with Greg Hall, who also just released a new album. What can people expect from that show?
It's going to be awesome. Greg is a longtime friend and collaborator of mine, and he's got a great new record out. So yeah, we're just going to bring all the new music together, and both bands are going to play our own sets, and then it will inevitably jam together at the end. It's always a treat when I get to play with Greg, and we're just kind of kindred spirits. He's my brother. He's the guy you can call in the middle of the night if you need to reckon with somebody, or you need some advice, or 6 in the morning. He gets up early too. So we'll have, he's just a good brother and an incredible talent and brilliant writer. His new album is awesome. And so we both were kind of thinking like, well, why don't we just team up and do these together? So we're actually going to do like a 4-show run here, and I'm sure we'll do more beyond that. Yeah, it's going to be a really good time. Just a lot of guitar music, a lot of great country music, rock and soul stuff. Yeah, everybody gets to come and check out these new songs.
Seems like you have a lot of irons in the fire. Is there anything in particular that you're really excited about coming down the road?
Yeah, I'm currently writing a new album right now. I can't say a ton about it for various reasons, other than it's along some of the lines of the Vegas Motel, in that I'm writing about a particular subject matter, approaching it a little differently than some of these other records I've done. I'm doing field research and going to places and meeting people, and it's kind of an amazing experience. Actually, I'm doing a lot of this in the Deep South. Cool. And so I am super excited about it. I've been working on it for about a year, and a lot of the demos, though, have started to really take shape. I'm very excited to continue that process and hopefully get in the studio here by, in the next month or so to start to track it. It's sort of, I guess musically, it's along the lines of like a little bit old Western kind of thing, like a old throwback Western song, some gospel stuff, Southern gospel roots, and a lot of like outlaw stories, true stories. If you know me, you'll know that I'm a nonfiction guy, so I'm really into true stories, hearing the accounts of things that people went through time. And so it's going to be definitely a lot of that. That's part of what I'm doing this research for, and traveling down there and working on with some of these individuals who were in these stories themselves, absorbing those stories, absorbing that experience, and then turning them into songs.
Well, staying busy, man. So where can people find out more if they want to check out that show in La Crosse, or just kind of keep tabs on you?
Yeah, you can always go to the website. Is the best move. We got all the socials as well. The website is markjoseph-music.com. That is the calendar you always want to check. It's got all the official dates and info on it. Yeah, tickets are on sale now for April 15th, so make sure you grab those. It's at the Main, I believe, which is a really beautiful room, and it's going to be a great night, so make sure you grab those. And yeah, hit me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We got Snapchat. Well, I'm on TikTok now.
All the things.
So, it's getting real. Yeah, TikTok now.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the Lacrosse Local podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.